Frankfurt, knocking towards Frankfurt. And it's west.
Devery. Do you spell your name?
Oh, it's west of North.
1, 2.
I'm gonna take that little. Wolf.
And
No.
your daughter, Elsie, ELSI.
It's a bunch of houses, it's called. Some kind of. Well, I'll leave it.
Are we ready, Amber?
Hi, guys. Yeah. Morning. Morning.
Can I call this meeting to order? Y'all please rise.
Everybody will join me for a moment. Father God, we are just here today to serve you, and we are so thankful for you. We are so thankful for your ultimate gift of your precious Son. Lord, we just thank you for that grace and that forgiveness and that unconditional love that we have full access to. Lord, we just ask that you help us all to remember that we can plug right into you and your Holy Spirit, just power through anything that faces us. We just ask that you're with anyone that's hurting or ill, Lord. We just are believing for your healing and your restoration. We ask that you continue to watch over every person that serves this county, Lord, that you protect the staff and that you just really watch over their families. And we just thank you for them as we appreciate all those that are in public service. Lord, thank you for those amazing men and women that are fighting to protect our great country. But again, Lord, most of all, we just thank you for your Son, and it's in his precious name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I will entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have approval of the minutes from the April 23rd regular meeting.
Approve the minutes as submitted. I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we are at public request. So do we have any public requests out there? Anybody have anything? And please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name
3
is
minutes as
Dey
well.
Matthews. I am in District 5. I've lived in Roosevelt County for a little over 13 years. My husband and I have 3 dairies west of Portales, and I am here to speak on behalf of Roosevelt County Extension Association. I am currently serving as the Extension Association of New Mexico, which is our state organization president. Our vice president is also from Roosevelt County currently. We have a state membership of 262 members currently. 65 of those are from Roosevelt County. We are the largest amount of clubs within New Mexico right now, but we do not have an FCS agent. We have grown, adding 2 new clubs within the last 5 years. Both of those cater to the younger age group. This is not an association anymore that is thought of as an old ladies club. We do sometimes refer to it as Old Ladies 4-H just because it's not young kids. But Homesteaders Club is one of the clubs that I helped found in Roosevelt County. We cater to the younger age group looking for those skills that as latchkey kids were not learned from our parents, sometimes from grandparents, but not many. We are looking for skills that an FCS agent would provide. Our agents and our staff have been great to provide this for us with the limited skills that they have, but we have held steady and even grown without having an agent the last 8 years. Can you imagine what we could do in this county with the support of an agent? I'm also a 4-H mom. I lead the Portales Homeschool 4-H Club, We average about 35 kids when we meet twice a month. Most of these families have no experience in 4-H and are new to agriculture and 4-H education. They love the resources that 4-H provides. We look around the community as well with other parents or myself to provide the education for the different 4-H workshops, because we do not have a FCS agent to provide or facilitate those for us. Along with local county events, Roosevelt County Extension hosts the state event every 4 years when it rotates around the districts, as well as every other year, we host a district event. Having the FCS agent would provide us the resources to have workshops at those events when we host this, to not only provide education for our county, but for our district as well as for our state. So I encourage you guys, when you consider this, to not just think of our little area, think of the old ladies as is associated with homemakers clubs, but think of the future of Roosevelt County, our kids, our young families, keeping everybody educated and providing those skills that a lot of people post-COVID are looking for even more. Homesteading, gardening, how to can safely, not just pulling someone up on YouTube who may not have the proper knowledge or the proper skills. And a lot of people are scared of doing things. So please consider supporting us and supporting our membership as we are steadily growing and encouraging the youth as well as the families in Roosevelt County by voting in favor of an FCS agent. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good morning. My name is Chelsea Lee, and I am also from District 5. And I am the admin assistant at the Roosevelt County Extension Office. I come here today as a parent and a volunteer for 4-H, and also an extension member of the Homesteaders Club, as mentioned. This topic may have already been touched on, but as a volunteer with 4-H, my knowledge about crucial skills like food preservation, sewing, baking, and other home ec skills is very limited. I, like others in our areas, didn't have grandparents or parents who found interest in these topics or had time to teach us. So we were never taught and can't pass those skills and knowledge down to our children. This is where 4-H becomes important. But with limited volunteers, we still struggle to meet the needs of our youth, and this is where a home economist would be beneficial to the youth of Roosevelt County 4-H. Transitioning over to the extension side, we have over 65 members, as mentioned, of the Extension Association in our county alone. I would like to have more knowledge-based programs like cooking on a budget, creating a budget, canning, and so much more, but without a home economist, we again rely on volunteers for these programs. And as you well know, volunteers are few and far between. Although we have made do with what we have, I would love to see our extension programs grow. Thank you for your time and consideration on this matter.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Paula Grady, and I am in District 2. I don't have anything formal. You guys know me. 4-H is everything I do in my life. It's one of those situations in our county right now where we are in a place where we have moms that work, we have dads that work, and we have kids that need the kind of education that Charles C. and Devery talked about. Our world right now is a crazy place, as you guys well know. And we are one of those counties that still holds those values and morals dear to our heart. And this is an organization that provides those things to our children. I think it's of utmost importance to continue that. But as I have volunteered, Meredith's volunteered, Devery, so many other people, having to enter the workforce in our current situation is leaving it to where we can't hold the brunt of this any longer. We really desperately need an FCS agent to help Ryan and Patrick and Charles C., who are doing an amazing job, but we really need that other person to complete that. When we roll up to a 4-H event, per capita, if you look at our population and how many kids we bring, it is equal to some of these very large counties like Doña Ana County and Bernalillo County. We just bring a lot of kids. We have a lot of participation. And even though things have happened recently, we haven't diminished our population, and it's grown, just like our extension association. It's growing. So that being said, thank you for our consideration, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm Donald Clark. I believe I was told I was in Paul's district. Extension, I don't have the same type of presentation I was given. What I was going to talk about is how extension has affected my life growing up as a native in Roosevelt County. Like I mentioned earlier, this courthouse used to have the home economics office downstairs. It had the library. I got polio shots downstairs, and we've changed since then. But I remember that. I remember my mother bringing her canner up here, checking the seal, and taking the gauge and have it calibrated. Because you heat up a pressure cooker, it becomes a bomb if it's not safely done. And Joy Best did a great job in keeping us safe. Floyd McAllister did a job keeping us safe. One day he made my mother pull up all tomatoes that had dicyston, a systemic insecticide put on them, because, probably saved my life, but that was through extension. I'm still here. I mean, okay, now I was going to also, besides saying going down to the courthouse, my mother was deeply involved in the club meetings in town. I remember my son talking about she had to rush up there and get those record books in place, The competition type of extension, the contest and all, pushes people to excel, to do more in their life than they would normally do. And it may not make money, but it's a quality of life thing so many times, Myself, I do arts and crafts, I weave, and I get so much good out of it. And so do these other people that's involved with the extension agent at that level. The fair, the county extension, I remember Connie Mayers coming to the fair and still doing what she always did when she was hired, keeping a kind of a control of the arts and crafts and one thing and another. The fair has become mainly an animal show in a way, but us other people that don't have animals, we may want to craft, we may want to have vegetables, we may want to do leather work. And this agent always was there to any problem that came up, they could solve it. Extension agents are looked up to in the community. They come in and they're looked up to, they solve problems for the community. They give research-based information, and we very much need research-based information in this world today. You can get all kinds of things off the internet, and who are you going to go and ask if that's right or not? There's a lot. I appreciate the time. If we could, the people of the county would benefit from more extension help in their office. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Elsie Matthews. I'm an active 4-H member in Roosevelt County, and I think an FCS agent would benefit our county greatly. A couple of months ago, I was able to attend FCS school because my mom was able to take me, and other children's parents aren't able to take them places. So an FCS agent would be good because then I would be able to experience things with home economics with my friends and their friends and since I was in 4-H, I started 4-H when I was 9 and I'm now 11. And when I attended FCS school, I was able to make a quilt. And I have friends that would like to do this too. And they saw that I've done this, and they thought that they should be able to do this too. And I'd like to be able to help my friends know how to do this as well as other things. Like I have lots of friends in my club that we taught canning just last meeting, and there was only 3 kids that knew that I've ever canned before. Because their parents don't know how to can. And I have friends that would like to show and do other things that we don't have an FCS agent, so they can't do it unless we travel to another county. So I would encourage you to vote yes to a FCS agent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone else? That is some big shoes to follow, but does anybody else have anything? Okay, thank you. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate your input. And thank you very much. You did a great job. And I wish I could quilt like that. Okay, moving on. Elected officials, department heads. First up is Miss Ramsey in detention.
That's definitely going to be a hard act to follow. Good morning. So for our detention report this morning, I have 52 detainees, 5 females at this time, 47 males. I have 9 out-of-county detainees. About 5 of those still have dual charges. So that means they have charges in another county and charges here as well. For billing for Quay County, we have 18,375. For our MAT program, we're at 13 individuals for group and individual counseling, 3 on medications. GED is at 3, yoga is at 10, and parenting, we have 5 individuals. To close up my report, I just wanted to remind you guys it's National Corrections Week. And again, I'd like you guys to come and meet and conversate with our staff, maybe sit down and have a meal, maybe sit in master control and do some of the work for us. Come see what we do day in and day out. We are a 24-hour facility. Our safety and security is nonstop every day, forever, always. So some of the things that we have going on this week, yesterday we had APIC provide us meals. APIC is our camera agency that we work closely with. Today medical is helping us out with meals. We're buying sides and stuff, guys. Tomorrow, the kitchen's going to help us out. We're going to cook in-house. We're all going to throw in. Thursday is going to be all the staff. We're doing a drawing for our staff for prizes, things like that. Javier and Holmes gave me that idea. And then Friday is going to be the supervisors cooking for our staff. So those are our big days. So if you guys would like to help, bring something on Thursday and Friday, since it's kind of a potluck. We're just throwing in and figuring it out. But that's the end. Goodbye.
Anybody have any questions for Miss Ramsey? Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on to finance. Ms. Rivera.
Good morning, Commissioners. In your packet is the third quarter report that we submitted to DFA on April 29th. This report is for activity through March 31st and represents the respective balances for each fund that we manage. All funds are performing well, and many are at the 75% benchmark with expenses incurred and or encumbered. With that, I'd like to say a big thank you to the department heads whom I work closely with as they monitor their budgets. They review monthly budget worksheets that are sent to them. They review open status PO reports, and then they call me or email me if they have any questions in regards to their budget. As of March 31st, our general fund had an adjusted balance of a little more than 16.9 million, which that includes investments of a little over 12.6 million. And with that, I'll stand for any questions on this wonderful baby.
Anybody have anything for Liliana?
Not I.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Okay. Healthcare, Ms. Weems.
Madam Chair, I'll move to go into indigent meeting.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Commissioner Greider?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we are in indigent.
Good morning. In your packet was our total claims that we received. We received $1,473.60. We approved 2 at $1,083.60. And we denied 2 at $390. Roosevelt General Hospital 2 is the $1,083.60. And we denied 1 as that was an inmate of another county, Quay County, at $291. And then Concord Radiology, we denied 1 for $99 as that patient had Medicaid at the time of service.
I'll move to come out of indigent. Got a motion and a second. Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
we're out of indigent.
I move we accept the indigent report. Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept the indigent report. Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
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 Motion
you.
carries. Thank you. Moving on. Road Department. Juan Dominguez.
Morning. On the projects, we're working on South Roosevelt Road 15 between Road P and Road Q. We got the subgrade ready. We're just about ready to haul caliche on it. And we've been moving blow sand in several areas around the county. We're currently in Floyd or south of Floyd on AG, removing that sand out of there. Been doing a little pothole patching. And then on April 29th and 30th, we had our tire amnesty days. Yeah, we had a pretty good turnout. We ended up with, I'd say, a little over 1,000 tires. So I'll have a better idea when we haul them off. We're averaging about 50 to 60 tires per ton. So as many tons as we get, then I can kind of average it from there. And on the blades, I got one on X and 2 north of town, one on 3 and AK west of Floyd, one on 34 and Z south of Elida, one on 30 and D Lingo area, and one moving to 20 and F east of Rogers. And that's about it.
Anybody have anything for Juan?
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to manager, Ms. Hamilton.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. So several things to run down this morning on our highlights. So we are out for request for proposal right now on the pavilion renovations that closes on May 14th. We are awaiting to see the results on that. We've had a lot of interest expressed by potential contractors, so that's always a great sign. The covered stalls are in process. The materials, I got a text yesterday that the materials were being ordered. So they will start those work, and that's to be substantially complete by the end of the fiscal year. So that'll be a really quick project going up with those two. We also have the Emergency Operations Center, the EOC, which is something that y'all set forth last year or this fiscal year. And we are working with our architect to get their final proposal so that we can start the design schematics. We are just finishing that process. As far as the next projects, we are gearing up. We did receive $275,000 as we discussed for the detention center for the updates to the plumbing and electrical in that front addition, the front construction, the first section that was built. And that's going to go through USDA, and Ms. Weems is working on that. There's a series of additional applications. Is the easy and fun part is right at the beginning when they tell you they get the money. It gets harder after that. So Carla is doing great and learning the process, and she is going to be resilient. The next one is we will need to look at potentially rescheduling our next meeting, and we have it scheduled for May 21st, and due to conflicts
We could look at the Tuesday following Memorial Day, or we could look at that Thursday, 5:30. We need it toward the end of the month to be able to adopt a final budget following y'all's budget workshops and the development of such. I don't know if y'all brought dates with y'all as to what y'all could look at, or if you want me to circle back and we can look at that at a later date.
So you're wanting to, May 21st, you're wanting to either do it on the 24th, or what was the other option, did you say?
It'd be like the 28th or the 30th.
Oh, the 28th.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm a little,
I think the Thursday would work for me for sure.
that's the 30th. Yes, sir.
Right, because we had all agreed as a Board of Commission that we would try not to have a meeting after a holiday because of family outings and travel, especially when the kids are out of school. So that's
And it
my,
is, yes, it is an evening meeting. Keep that in mind.
Oh,
since it's
okay.
The second one of.
then it's a moot issue for me then. It's the evening meeting in the rotation, so it doesn't matter. I can flex my stuff however.
I'm thinking it just might make it easier on everybody else if we kept it on a Tuesday. Excuse me, if we kept it on a Tuesday but if it doesn't, that doesn't bother you since it's at 9? Is that good with you? But you?
I'm good. Leave it good. Leave it on Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday.
May 28th, 5:30 PM.
Yes, yes, is that what it normally is?
May 28th.
I'll send out a public notice of the change. Thank you. I'm really excited that we are finally to the point of having the grand opening and the ribbon cutting for the Roosevelt County Food Pantry. This is operated by the Food Bank of Eastern New Mexico. We are able to coordinate this with all the parties involved. The county is a tiny little part. We just got the grant and built it. The food bank is going to do the heavy lifting and operating. They've had some soft openings just to make sure they have the logistics worked out. Juan and his crew did a phenomenal job of going in there and doing a little landscaping, a little parking lot work, all kinds of exciting stuff. And Gary has done great at managing the project. So definitely a team effort. And that's over at 600 North Avenue K. And we're going to do it on May 16th. It's going to be come and go. We're going to have the ribbon cutting at 2:30. And they'll have the building open so that everyone can tour and see. It's a small little location set up as kind of modeling a convenience store, as that's the new trend with those food pantries and everything. So really exciting. The most important thing is to have a permanent location here in Roosevelt County to really help combat some of this food insecurity that we're facing, so that we're not, the food bank's not having to have that heavy lift of just bringing down and doing distributions every other week or such. And they were just running into some struggles logistically. It worked good at La Casa to have an alternative site, but having a permanent home, they're very, very excited about that. So more to come. The chamber is helping us and they're putting together a little flyer. They're supposed to have that finished today. I just had a first draft, and so we will send out the public notice and get everybody invited. So we're really excited about that. Again, May 16th.
Give me a time, Amber, again,
2:30.
and it starts at 2:30.
Yes, they're going to cut the ribbon. 2 o'clock for you.
Okay. Not funny.
1:45.
The reason I'm asking, all jokes aside, guys, same day as the New Mexico DOT
Yes.
commissioners, state commissioners, well, Portales is hosting it.
Mhm.
I try to attend every year. This is instrumental to huge benefit for our county because we get to address from us not being on the radar for certain state projects that adjoin our county roads and city. So I'd like to be present at both. I just don't know. Do you know what time it'll end? The DOT meeting? 'Cause
No,
it
I
says
was
it
going to
starts
talk
at-
about that next, and it starts at 8:30. It's at the Campus Union building. So I anticipate we could be wrapped up by noon for sure. The public comment part and the part where y'all will have the opportunity to provide any kind of feedback. It's typically at the first of the meeting, I think, when we went to the last one. So
Okay.
usually they take public comments at the first like we do. So I think it should be early, but
It
I'm not
should be,
sure. I don't
yeah.
have the
They
full
usually last
itinerary.
through lunch. But you know, we were instrumental in meeting during those hearings in Rio Doso one time, and we were not on the radar for any state projects. And soon, when I told them we needed to be on the radar, that's when we got North Main, the Floyd Highway, and Levington Highway between Wells Fargo and Farmers Market done. So that's why I'm saying, commissioners, that it's really important for somebody to represent on our behalf and even give some testimonials, especially if we have special projects that we would like to present. For sure, because Francisco now is the division engineer or district engineer, and I know that we work very well with former district engineer, but Francisco used to be his right-hand man for a lot of years, so they want to help us, but we need to be present.
Bob's
Yes.
gonna be present, so.
And I provided that went out as a public notice, so y'all are all welcome to attend. That's been duly noticed and everything's there. I do not have any more of an agenda other than what I provided to y'all, but it does start at 8 a.m. again at the Campus Union Building on the 16th.
8 or 8:30.
8:30, 8 o'clock.
For me,
And the ribbon deal will be at 2:30 that same day.
Yes, sir. And it's all about trying to coordinate with everyone. We really need the ambassadors there and the chamber crew, and that worked for them. That was following one of their board meetings. So we're just trying to accommodate everybody, and it worked for our food bank partners. Obviously, they're the most important ones we want to have there. So anyways, moving on. So we have had some updates on the regional behavioral health facility. Y'all have been actively involved in that now for several years. What they are looking at is being able to schedule an update with our governing bodies in June. And they are working on finding dates that work with every county as best we can. Of course, Union, Quay County, and those will come down. I don't know if it'll be in Portales or Clovis, but one of those two primary locations again. And then in July, they're looking at holding a community meeting, and we're doing some additional meetings with law enforcement because the first phase that has been funded, of course, is that 24/7 drop-off type for that crisis intervention. And that will be the first phase. So they are in final stages, the city of Clovis, of the land acquisition, and then they can move forward with the next. So really excited to be able to bring all of our governing bodies together again like we did last time and be able to update y'all on where everything's at. And of course, Initium Health is going to come down. They're our partners in all the planning, and they'll come down and provide all of that information. So more to come on those dates. We will be hosting the New Mexico County's Insurance Authority meeting here locally in August on the 14th. They like to travel around to the small communities. And so we got voluntold that we're hosting this year. So we're excited to help with that. And we're excited to have those people here locally. We're going to be able to show them that. Several of y'all were able to see our newly renovated meeting space. So we'll be able to have our meeting over there, and it will be a fun time for all on the pool board. The chamber did send out a luncheon notification. They're asking all members to attend ENMU on May 17th. So hopefully, Commissioner Lopez, you plan to attend that. I'm hoping with Miss Vicky on the 17th from 11:30 to 1 at ENMU.
I had that on my list as well to address, so thank you.
Perfect. And then I am really excited. Mr. Dominguez and I will be attending the TPF SERPTO presentation meeting in Ruidosa in May. And it is going to be early in the morning on, I believe it's May 23rd. I didn't get that part written down. Yes, so May 23rd. And we do not have a commissioner assigned to SERPTO at this time because it's been handled through the road department and such. But I just need to see if someone can attend. I'll be driving in. I have a meeting in Santa Fe on Wednesday, so I'll drive down to Ruidosa. Yes, sometime.
I would say my recommendation, but it's only me, Madam Chair or Vice Chair to be in attendance, because usually since we don't have anybody appointed, that's if you go down priority list, that's who I would recommend be there on our behalf.
And if y'all both want to go, that's great. We just need to figure out. And I think Carla has one hotel room now, so we would need.
That was the DOT.
And it's the SERPTO application. So we've got two of them that are submitted, and they're both just shy of about 2 million each. So just making those presentations. I don't think you would necessarily have to say anything. It's a lot of times I don't anticipate having to speak. Mr. Dominguez will do the heavy lifting, but it's just that support of being there and showing that the whole county
And
is
it's
part of this.
May 20th?
It'll be May 23rd in Ruidoso.
What day is that? Without me
It's
looking
a
at my
Thursday.
phone. Well, I'm there every Thursday. It's my second home.
So if y'all can check your calendars and just let me know who is able to attend, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I
Okay,
used to
and-
sit on that one, but then we changed it over, so Ricky just did it. Yeah.
Right. We just went to the roads. And so,
Okay.
and then the last thing is very exciting for me. I'm one of those that never wins anything, but I also don't play the lottery or anything like that. So it's kind of up to me. But the last, probably over the last 10 years, I've entered a scholarship drawing for an ICA conference 3 or 4 times. You have to write an essay and do everything, and haven't ever received it, but until this year. And this year they provided notice that I won the scholarship. So for the travel to the conference, and it's actually being held in Palm Desert, California. And it will be in June, like June 5th through the 7th. So it doesn't conflict with a commission meeting or anything. I'm very excited to have the opportunity. We do have some money budgeted for education. I think that it may be a application or a conference fee of about $500. It'd be about what the county would have to expend. And again, we have it in the budget, but they pay for the airfare and the hotel and everything. So really excited to have that. And that came through the National Association of City and County Managers, and it's the 2024 ICMA Local Government Reimagined Conference. So if y'all don't have any major concerns on that one, I'm gonna plan to attend and learn.
When's the annual conference?
You're talking about for New Mexico?
Yes.
counties?
June on the
So it's
17th.
the 17th.
Okay, so, okay, no conflict then, perfect.
Yes, so June 17th through the 20th. The end.
Thank
I'm
you.
good. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Watson?
No, but I do have one item since she covered everything else I had on my list. I'd like to address, because I know we can during our line items. The young lady who spoke, I want to commend her for being such a bright, young future of us Americans in Roosevelt County. BPA and FCS, they hold a special place in my heart. My wife, since we moved back from Colorado years ago, has been part of the program in Portales, Marshall, Clovis, and now she's in Dora, starting her 5th year, or started her 5th year. But I would like to just address the fact that I think there's a huge, not just the need, but we need to sustain something that's so good for the future of our children. That's where I stand. And then my wife will be leaving to nationals in Chicago with her students, her and the LIDA teacher. And it's the BPA finals. And I can just envision you not only being at national finals, but probably one of the main persons there. So congratulations on that beautiful speech you gave, and you have a bright future. I promise you. I'm done.
Mr. Savage, do you have anything?
Well, I think he's right on point there. Not only this young lady spoke, did a great job, but all you ladies who spoke, I appreciate that, you have a little saying in ag, 5 P's. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. And you ladies came prepared, gentlemen came prepared. I appreciate that presentation. I think I became a Roosevelt County 4-H member along about 1955 in the Perry 4-H. Paul's the only one who knows where Perry is, but
Is it 4-H together?
so That time Billy C. and Travis Allen were my agents. So we have a long history of the 4-H, and talk, one little note about the 4-H program, and I'm sure Ryan is aware of this because he wrote a letter of recommendation to a young lady applying to a scholarship for the Malcolm Foundation. We started a foundation we call the Malcolm Foundation in honor of Joyce Cone, who supported 4-H and FFA throughout the state. And it's to raise money to support agricultural youth. And it's maybe a scholarship. It may be providing assistance, financial support. Some kid may be going to a national contest or something and needs some help, maybe buy a jacket. We don't know. It could be anything to support agricultural youth. We had planned to give 5 $1,000 scholarships, and we met yesterday at noon, and we had 9 applicants from all around the state, as far as Doneana, Bernalillo, Estancia, Portales, and Roosevelt County, and the quality of the applicants were really great. We're really happy with the quality of the applicants. And so we dug a little deeper and were able to give 6 $1,000 scholarships, plus one kid who's just a junior is wanting. They gave him a grant. He's wanting to start producing meat goats, and he's in Doneana County. So that worked well, and the quality of the applicants were good. It's an indication of the quality of the 4-H and FFA programs throughout the state are producing some great young leaders, and the quality of those applications showed up, and the quality, revealed the quality of our programs. So save the date. I think it's September the 21st. We're going to have another fundraiser, so if you'd like to support the Malcolm Foundation. But it's like y'all are doing, is to help kids in agriculture. And there's one thing I want to talk about, and I don't know, maybe Tina and Mr. Lopez and Mr. Criswell might want to talk about something. We attended a county affiliate meeting last week, and it was at the Inn of the Mountain Gods, and it's where commissioners from all around the state meet to discuss things that they might have, problems they might have in common, things that they make recommendations to the legislature. And it went well, and I've gone to a lot of these type of meetings. I go to state school board meetings, and you go to that meeting, you sit there, you go to those breakout sessions, you sit there, and it's the same old thing over and over. You don't get anything out of it. But this was a different deal. It was a deal where these affiliate members came with legitimate concerns they had in common. They were able to talk to each other and make some recommendations to the legislature. And I would like to thank Commissioner Dixon and Commissioner Criswell for their efforts. And this Commissioner Dixon is currently the newly elected president for the affiliate, and Commissioner Criswell is the newly elected Secretary Treasurer, which y'all may not know it. He revealed this to me, but the books on that association haven't been corrected for about 3 years, I think. So they handed him a mess. And he's put a lot of time and effort into that to try to straighten out the books. But they did an awesome job organizing that meet. And I think a lot of good come out of it. And so thank you. I'd like to say thank you to you guys for doing that.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you. Willie, you got anything?
First off, I loved it. You remind me of my little girl. I know, I guess Rod, he remembers her. Darla remembers her.
grew up about the same time Ryan did. Ryan was a little older than she was. But yeah, I guess that's right. In her older years, huh? Yeah. Yeah. But you remind me a lot of her. And thankfully we had Connie Moyer back then. And that's what, the home economists, they do more than just, than just with the, your older women checking pressure cookers and canning pots and stuff. Yeah, they do a lot more than that. And then they help out the 4-H kids a lot. And y'all probably, and I know Darla knows, and Rod knows, and Charlie probably knows, and Paula knows, because she's been on, I think Paula might have went on some national trip with those kids in a horticulture contest. I think it's horticulture, and then there was another one. What other one, Ryan? They went to Pennsylvania, and they went somewhere else. There for about 2 or 3.
So we sure do well in FCS.
Yeah.
The consumer science.
But I know Connie, she works with those 4-H kids, and she wasn't the 4-H agent, but they do a lot more. And so they, I'm a big advocate. And anyway, but you getting up there, you remind me of my daughter, and I just I hope that other parents maybe that was watching this today seen that, it would encourage their kids to get involved. And that's what it's all about. And then that being said, we attended that meeting up there with Rod. We had a couple speakers come in there. And there's one from RCAF come up there, Shad Sullivan, and Chris, can't think of his name.
Jim Carlson.
Jim Carlson from Kansas. Been there and had those speakers, and I really enjoyed them. Commend Tina and Vicky for putting that on, getting put together, and Jim Paxton. Also I went to Silver City Thursday. Went out there as a proxy, I guess the correct word, and attended that New Mexico County meeting. My first one to attend, and it was all budget. And I really, budgets, it's a lot of boring stuff when you're not involved. But it was a learning curve, and got to go out there. But I also it was brought to my attention Wednesday this past week, and it's fixing to affect Roosevelt County in a big way. The Fish and Wildlife Service has wanted to expand the Gruya Sandhill Crane National Refuge, and they're wanting to expand it by 700,000 acres. All right, that 700,000 acres is not all state or BLM. There is no BLM on the eastern side of the state of New Mexico, right over there. There is some state lease, and I don't know the details yet. Nobody knows the details yet. They're wanting to expand that 700,000 acres on the New Mexico side. A total of 1.3 million acres is going to be the expansion that they are proposing. And I've talked to some landowners around the Gruya livestock, the Gruya Wildlife Refuge over there, and they know nothing about it. This is a big concern for Roosevelt County. When that acreage does get put out, so does our property taxes is going to be taken out. There will be no more property taxes off of that land over there when they do take it out. And so it's a big concern to me, and we need to learn more. I talked to Mr. Martin about it. He knew nothing about it. Told him that we got to get in the fight for this deal. I even sent word out to Mr. Nybert. He has not responded to me back yet. Our nominee for Senator Pat Boone responded back, told me that he will be in the middle of the fight with this. And but that's a big concern. And people, we got to do some research and see if we can't join the fight on this deal, because it's going to affect us. You may not think it's going to affect you personally, but it will. It will affect you personally down the road. It may not be tomorrow, and it might be not next year, 10 years from now. Yes, you will be affected. And because once they start, that footprint just keeps growing, because they're not going to stop at this prairie chicken. And that's what it's about. They're going to go to the lizard, and then they're just now fixing to put on a chipmunk that can be listed on this deal. And it's just a snowball effect. And so, and we need to get in. I just want everybody to open their eyes and ears and join and see if we can't get proactive on this. But other than that, I don't know much. I don't know of anything else.
Oh. You got nothing? Okay.
Right.
Go ahead.
Steal your thunder, but I might mention a few things to just kind of refresh my memory. We were at that meeting, and the topics that they we had a lot of discussion about was the reintroduction of the Mexican gray wolf. And they set him loose over there and along the Gila on the western side of the state. But the problem is those wolves found out it's a lot more convenient and easier to go to town and catch somebody's dogs and cats than it is run down an elk. Mm-hmm. And when they diminish the elk supply and deer supply, the next thing they're going to eat the calves. And it's not just eating the calves, it's chasing the cows. And those cows don't milk. So the weight of the calf crop diminishes. And it causes lots of problems, ranchers' profits at the expense of the environment. To me, the reintroduction of the Mexican gray wolf to the ranching industry equates to put a rattlesnake in somebody's pocket and then ask them for a match. That's about how much sense that makes. And so there was a lot of discussion about that and trying to get that stopped. It's not, you think, well, it's over on the west side of the state. It doesn't affect us. I'm sitting next to the commissioner from Clovis. He said, well, we don't have them. I said, yeah, but they're wanting to reintroduce them south of I-40. When that happens, the gentleman from Crossroads is here. When that happens, we got a lot invested in these ranching operations. And when you introduce those wolves and they start killing calves and chasing those cows, it really is going to affect the economy of agriculture in Roosevelt County. So that was a big topic of discussion. There's a lot of discussion about mental health resources. But that's Commissioner Lopez is kind of wheelhouse there. A lot of people interested in having more programs, legislature being able to fund more programs in the counties for mental health resources. And then another thing, we had a lot of discussion there from some of those legislators about returning to an elected state school board instead of having a state school board secretary who is appointed by the governor, responsible to the governor. We'd like to return to a elected school board so that each region has elected representation, and then your state secretary of education is responsible to the board instead of responsible to the governor. Because in that sort of a deal, it doesn't make any difference if you have a Republican governor or a Democratic governor. They want to have the power. They want to be able to call the shots and have that education under the thumb. And it's been a disaster. We've had about 5 different secretaries of agriculture in the last 20 years, secretaries of education in the last 20 years, and I can't remember a single one of them has been worth plugging it. We need to go back to someone, I think the worst thing we can do is entrust our education to a governor who has no clue about education, how to educate, what it takes to educate kids and what New Mexicans need. I know that I was teaching at Elida, we're required to do a Common Core curriculum for agriculture. And we were going to have an end of course exam based on that core curriculum. It was an Illinois curriculum and didn't have anything in that curriculum to go to the shop. In New Mexico, especially in a rural community, we needed to, kids wanted to go to the shop and learn how to weld, learn how to use tools. Wanted to go to these judging contests, evaluate livestock. It was just all, if you're just all in the classroom trying to give a lecture, that'll kill it. That'll kill the program. So, anyway, there was discussion there about returning to an elected school board. And so we don't know how that's turned out, because I know that for the last 20 years, that's been a recommendation from the State School Board Association at their annual meeting is to return to an elected school board. And it never gets presented by any legislator, because they know, well, number one, it's not going to pass because we have a liberal legislature. Second, two, if it does pass, the governor's going to veto it. There's no, it's dead in the water before we begin. But that was some of the things that we talked about, was the reintroduction of gray wolf, returning local power to the local communities, and not just the school board situation, but also having a seat at the table when these issues like the reintroduction of gray wolf, taking more territory for the sandhill crane, sand dunes, lizard, all these things that they're putting on us. It's a land grab. It's a land grab, and it's part of the movement towards one world government, more power, more power. And so, like Mr. Crystal said, we need to be aware of this situation exists and try to do everything we can to push back. I get off my soapbox.
I'd like to say one more thing as well. I'd like to attest what Commissioner Savage said in reference to the school issue. I'm very educated, but I'm not an educator. You've been an educator, so you know hands-on what it is. But with that said, my wife has been an educator for 30 plus years, and I get to live with it day in and day out. And my motto has been most recently is that research data and the truth doesn't lie, and common sense should prevail. And I just don't understand when you see research and data, and especially how successful rural America, schools like Dora, Elida, Texaco, Farwell House, all those places. Did I miss Elida or no? I didn't miss Elida. Okay, I'm looking at both of y'all. But anyway, with that, I'm just saying that there's got to be a way to form some type, not really committee. I think it's got to be something way above and beyond a committee to really lobby these individuals. I think that we need somebody that is really in the know to be at that level of our government, whether it's state representative or senator, that can sit down even one-on-one throughout the year and kind of like show them what's working. Don't try to fix it if it's not broken. But until that day comes, we're going to have to sit at status quo. Unfortunately, that's a sad reality. But we really, really need to try to find individuals who can have the knowledge and education to teach others that just kind of pass the buck and say, oh no, we're not going to pass it, without having the knowledge of it. So that's my take on that, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay. Is everybody finished? Okay. And with that, I would also like to say on this whole crane thing, when we got that, we got it in a text message from another individual. But I sit on the New Mexico-Arizona Coalition, and there was not ever anything. We do all the wildlife stuff, all of that. Nothing was ever said about it. So it just kind of snuck in the back door. But with that, you can take any one of these things, whether it's the butterfly, the sand dune lizard, whatever it is, the danged old prairie chicken, all of these things. And as they make their footprint for this one, and then they put this one on top of it and this one, it ends up taking up all of our country. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about that, the wolf, they have that released out there, and they're worried about saving this wolf, which I understand you know, we don't want anything to become extinct or whatever, but we're caging up children at bus stops. They've literally put cages around the bus stops for these children to protect them from the wolves. None of this makes sense to me. I mean, we kill babies, we save wolves. I mean, none of it makes sense at all. But all of these things are going to take over. Then you throw the school in, and they want control of this. What they're wanting to do is get rid of rural America, because rural America, these are the schools, these 4-day school weeks and these things, those are the ones that these kids are thriving. Everything's doing much better. But they want to get rid of that because every single thing they do is getting rid of rural America, the 30 by 30, America the Beautiful, whatever, the WOTUS, all of this. But they get these government programs and get you to get in these different government programs. And then that little fine print at the bottom, all they got to do is list some species, see that on that program property that you have, whether you put it in CRP or whatever, then the government's going to control that property because it has one of these listed species. By the time we're finished, every dadgum thing's going to be listed but humanity. Humans are going to be the only thing that they don't care anything about. And so I think we really need to watch it because it does affect us. It doesn't matter where you live because they've even got a butterfly listed. And the way they've got that done and the mouse and all of this with these fences, the fence that they have up, there's no top, but this flipping mouse that they may or may not have seen, anything can swoop right in the top, pick that mouse up and take it out of there. It can get out of the area. So, but they've blocked it off to block the water off so the cattle can't drink that water. The cattle can't tromp on that in case that mouse is there. I mean, so there's a whole lot of things, and we really need to think about the little things that are going on because it may seem like a little thing, but it's part of the big picture. And we need to work together to get this done. And as for you, you did a great job. And I appreciate all you guys coming. I totally agree with you on the extension agent and all of that. I was looking through my photos the other day and I saw some pictures of you because I sat one day when you did one of your weaving projects. And I have pictures of you while you were weaving and some of the finished products. And you taught that to our homemakers group. And so, you know, I really appreciate things like that. And it is funny because kids don't know anymore about canning or freezing. And you go to YouTube because that's what everybody does. Well, you get on YouTube and there is no telling what people are going to tell you on YouTube because that's just trial and error on YouTube. I mean, because they can tell you how to fix your car or whatever on there and it doesn't always work. But I do agree with y'all and I appreciate everybody coming out because we need to stick together as a community and we need to keep rural America alive because, you know, it's like I say, oil and gas fuels America, but farming and ranching is what feeds it. And so we've got to stick together. And I love rural America and I wouldn't trade it for that concrete world for nothing. So I appreciate everybody. And thank you guys. And does anybody else have anything else? We're going to skip on because we've been hung up on this item for a while. Okay. I did not. What does it say?
Well, I can get up. I mean, I'm gonna vote yes on the next agenda item.
Okay. So do we need to break?
No, I'll be right back. You guys have a
Okay.
forum. I just
Okay,
need.
thank you. Okay, moving on. Item 5. Request for approval to pay the New Mexico County Insurance Authority capital adequacy assessment of $245,307 in FY24. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, ma'am. So this is just a follow-up on what I presented in detail at the last meeting, and y'all had time to review in your packet. We did go back and I analyzed just off of the county equalization and compensation tax. We have enough to cover this, and that is definitely my recommendation. I not to carry this liability forward in the coming fiscal years. I'd rather have our capital adequacy taken care of this fiscal year. So just requesting approval from the commission to go ahead and get that taken care of and paid so that we have this remedied. I would stand for any questions.
Okay. With that,
Second.
got a motion and a second for 5A. Commissioner Savage?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 6. 6A, consideration of resolution 2024-16, changing the posted speed limit on South Roosevelt Road 8 from New Mexico 88, approximately 5 miles east to South Roosevelt Road G. Mr. Dominguez.
Morning again. So this is a 5-mile stretch of chip seal, older chip seal. It does need some work, but we have it in the TPF application for this year that's going in. So hopefully we can get it funded. And to change the speed limit, if you reduce it, the commission you can make a recommendation on it. If you're going to increase it, it's a different process. But so we did a traffic study on it. We had 1,375 vehicles both ways that submerged. So I think there was over 200 semis that went through there. And what we applied for this road, that's kind of why it's in the shape it's in. It's just a little over $700,000 to get it fixed, to totally rebuild it. So, and with that, I leave it in y'all's hands. See, y'all make a recommendation reducing it.
What are you wanting to what is it at now?
55.
So you're wanting to put it at what?
I would say about 40. That's
It's in resolution 40.
Okay. I don't have
Is
it.
that 40 about what all the rest of the roads are? Is it 40?
yeah, pretty close, 35, 40.
And just to clarify, so the state statute is that the county road follows the nearest mark. So if it's meeting up with 55 mile an hour, then that's something that I believe Senator Woods had to carry to get that cleaned up. So it's 55 typically on county roads when you don't have any issues. The issue was Commissioner Criswell brought the safety concerns repetitively with 8. And as Mr. Dominguez said, this is something that is in the queue on the 5-year plan. It's just a very heavy lift to replace this 5-mile section because at this point it's all way down to the subgrade. I mean, it will have to be ground up and started over at this point. So the recommendations there, and you did talk to all the first responders as well, correct?
Right. I got with Arch Fire, and the accidents have been low, which is a good thing. So if we reduce it, might be better, keep them accidents on the low side.
I'm sure.
Mhm.
One,
Yes, sir.
what's the process when we get this fixed in the future? Then what's the process of raising the speed limit back up to where it was?
Then it would be, I believe DOT would have to come in, do another study. And then at that point, I think they make a recommendation on it after that. On this part, reducing it, they don't make a recommendation.
But the DOT would have to
Right.
go
Come
in
in.
there. Well, I know, is Javier?
Yes, he was just a second.
I've got another question. If we reduce this speed limit on this road, are we just gonna be setting up out there speed trapping or,
No, I
you know, what's,
yeah, I guess that was a question for me if we're doing speed traps. Yeah, no, we're definitely not gonna be doing speed traps, but we'll definitely enforce the posted speed limit out there. So,
you know, cause I know this has been a concern on this road, but there's some county roads down in my district. Back in there, one of them between 114 and Rogers Highway, whatever number that is. There's a 3-mile stretch right there. That's just as bad or worse. And then there's another stretch road down there, goes off the curve at Lingo. there on 30 that's just as bad or worse or 2 times as worse as this road. And there's no thoughts of lowering the speed limit on them. But my concern is it's just going to be are we just going to start lowering the speed limits on these roads, and then if we get them fixed, are we going to raise them back up to where they were, to like any other county?
Well, when we get these roads chip sealed and micro sealed, it's kind of a double-edged sword because people love it whenever they're good roads, but then people start speeding in excess on those highway or those roadways. So we get complaints about speeders at that point in time because the road's good and they can fly down those roads. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's great that we have good roads, but then again, the people start speeding on those roads. So the more roads that we have clearly posted, the better that we can enforce those speed regulations and keep people safe and at a safe speed. So if that answers your question, then.
Does anybody know the DOT regulations and or the county regulations on speed limits? Because why is it that every time I go to the airport in Lubbock, the Texas farm roads are 70 and 75 with no shoulder?
That's Texas road.
That's Texas.
Yeah, but what makes, because I'm even curious about from Roswell to Hondo to Ruidoso, it drops down to 60 with probably the best 4-lane highway in the state. Who determines that? Is it Francisco's office or is it the State Land Highway Commission?
It's the Department of Transportation sets those, and that would be a good conversation for them at the time. The prior District 2 engineer had disclosed like they were trying to get those rates raised. Like he had it raised, I think, from Roswell to Elida and from Elida to the edge of Portales, a little ways out and everything. So I'm not sure if it's at the district level, but at some point it does go through. It's handled at the Department of Transportation. I'm just not sure exactly what office is responsible for that.
I've always been curious about that. That's all I have.
Anybody have anything else?
I think this may have resulted from my instigation in a way, because I drove that 8 off the second curve there going east. There were so many potholes in it. You couldn't stay in one lane all the way. It would kind of be almost a 2-lane road, but it's not marked as a 2-lane road. There is enough room for people to pass. But with with the state of deterioration, you couldn't consistently stay in one lane. You'd have to be moving from one lane to the other. And if a speed limit is 55, and a natural tendency to people, well, if it's 55, I can get away with 60 or at least maybe 65. If you're in that situation, you're having to meet a truck, you're either going to, at that rate of speed, and there's no shoulder, it's a big opportunity for a wreck because you're having to miss those spots. So I said, I think it'd be better to cut the speed limit back down a little bit in case that had to happen, at least have a chance to dodge a little bit. If we're going to raise it back up, okay, I personally have a problem with raising it back up after it's fixed because it's still not marked as a 2-lane road. It's a 1-lane road. And, we have lots of chip sealed and paved roads in my district. And I get a lot of complaints about people in my district complaining about speed limits. And we just don't have the workforce, the deputies, to go out there and watch all those roads all the time. And that's Javier mentioned that's a problem. But I think I would like to leave it down about to be consistent with what all the other roads are, like coming off of 7 down to P. That's more or less kind of a truck bypass. Whatever that speed limit is, I'd like to be consistent and leave it the same there. But the reason I always thought was, man, the shape that this road is in, it could be a serious problem.
Right.
And so I thought, well, maybe we need to do that. And the other question is, if it's 7, how much money do you say it takes to fix it? 700?
Just a little over 700,000.
And how close time-wise do you think we are and be able to get it
That depends if the funding is available.
It's in the TPF application.
Right.
So
So that's the questions I've had is, what are you gonna do on all the roads? Just not repair them? Let's don't fix the potholes, let's just lower the rate. Is that gonna be our policy, so that?
and they've been out there patching and fixing the potholes. So it's just
Well,
a
that's
constant.
It's a never ending.
Mhm.
Right. Fix some and then there's some new ones.
You did fix potholes.
Right.
I'll shut up.
Anybody else? Do I have?
I move the adoption of 6A. Is that one gonna take the right one?
Yeah, 6A is right one. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second for item 6A. Paul?
Yes.
Woodley?
No.
No.
Yes.
For debate purposes, can you, if y'all choose to, can y'all, not that I'm asking to justify, but can you give you not a rebuttal, but elaborate as to why you guys are voting no?
I can.
Because, and I apologize, I had to step up.
It's
I
okay.
had to step out.
My reason for voting no is because I agree, after listening to everything that was just said, I understand, but we can't just keep lowering speed limits because we don't have the road fixed or whatever. And then I don't want to turn back around and raise it back up, but we have these all over the county. Every district has, well, with the exception of yours, has,
Oh, mine has way more potholes.
but
What do
we
you
can't
think?
control that. Anyway, I know that we do, and I don't think that that's a good habit to get into, is just lowering the speed limit.
I tend to agree with that, Commissioner Criswell. You don't have to give your take on it. I'll vote no.
3 noes, 2 yeses, motion fails.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6B, consideration of resolution 2024-17, adopting an infrastructure capital improvement plan for the Roosevelt County Senior Center operated by La Casa. Ms. Weems.
Yes, good morning again. We're bringing to you for your consideration infrastructure capital improvement plan for FY 26 through 30 for the senior center. They haven't had one since 2019, and it's part of being able to apply for funding to get grants. They have come to us and we met, and they have some needs over at that facility. So in order to be able to seek funding from aging and long-term services, we have to have a current ICIP. And so we're presenting it as one project that will be phased. Phase 1, they're stating that they need HVAC system replaced, ADA improvements to the doors on the facility, and a new stove, stove and range is part of phase 1. Phase 2, they would like to add a metal storage building to serve as a garage with some storage area to protect their vehicles. And phase 3, which would be the year 2026 would be the first phase, 2027 the second, and 2028 would be to add additional parking with some fencing.
This has been in the works for quite a long time already, and I'm glad it's coming through fruition, at least the first stage of it. So I move to approve agenda item 6B as presented by Ms. Weems.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for item 6B. Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6C, consideration of resolution 2024-18 budget adjustment for fourth quarter FY 24 financial reports. Part 1, Ms. Rivera.
Hello, Commissioners again. So in your packet is the Part 1 for fourth quarter budget adjustments. Most likely you'll see a Part 2 later on as the year comes to a close. Most of these adjustments in this packet are for the payroll increases approved in the March meeting. You'll see adjustments to salary and quite a bit to the benefits. The payroll adjustment for that was a net zero due to the vacancies that we had throughout the year. as Ms. Bagwell had presented in her initial presentation. We also have a few transfer adjustments to ensure budget capacity and cash availability for funds that operate mainly under grant and/or distribution funds. And we typically don't see reimbursements for those expenditures well into our next fiscal year. With that, I'll stand for any questions on the budget adjustments.
Anybody have anything? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
You got a motion and a second there, Mandy.
Got
it. Commissioner Greider?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, down to 7, contracts, agreements, and procurements. 7A, request for approval of agreement with Civic Plus for net requests public records management platform for $5,991. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, so included in your packet is the proposal and the master service agreement. Mr. Garcia reviewed it. We made one change to that to ensure that we had adequate termination language to meet his requirements. The annual fee is at the $5,991. This would be within the general fund aspect of the budget. This is something that we've looked at for several years. We've done some other research. We've talked to other counties. We've done it in-house. What we're finding is being able to track it once we send it out to our department heads and elected officials. Timing is everything, as y'all know, with these IPRA requests. And when you have 15 or 20 different people having to respond, and we have 5 or 10 different IPRA requests going in any given time, we certainly don't want to have anything slip through the cracks. So both myself and Ms. Nada have set through demos. We feel very comfortable with it. We talked to others. The sheriff's office is one of those that takes a heavy burden of the IPRA requests, especially with the withheld cam footage and things like that nowadays. And this is something they're very much in favor of as well. And so we're just bringing it to you, asking for y'all's consideration and hopefully approval so that we can continue to streamline. The other great thing is for the public that it's going to simplify their request process too. So there's a lot of great things on the back end, but it's also going to be very front facing and friendly for our residents and those that want to request those public records. And it'll all be on our website, and that's a platform that they help provide.
Okay.
I'll answer any questions.
Move we approve.
I'll second. So I got a motion and a second for approval of 7A. Commissioner Criswell?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
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 Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thank you. Request for approval of professional service agreement for temporary coverage of the DWI misdemeanor compliance program. Ms. Rivera.
Yes, commissioners, we spoke briefly yesterday about the DWI misdemeanor program at our workshop and the vital need to get some help, some temporary help in assisting our compliance officer. Ms. Jimenez is our compliance officer, and she's here showing some support. She will be going out on leave. Typically, I would have covered that office and some of her duties during her absences, but I will most likely not be here when that time arrives. We looked into other options and they did not work out. We reached out to ENMU about giving a student an internship opportunity from the criminal justice degree program. And we're happy to report they quickly reached out and they would most likely have someone interested. The service agreement would let us get started and move forward to find the ideal intern to assist in this role. At the same time, gaining great real life work experience in their field of interest. With that, I'd stand for any questions.
What's the time frame? Are we going to try to get someone immediately to train them?
It would be ideal to get someone to train with Ms. Jimenez while she is still in the office.
And what's the estimated time? What's the time frame of you being gone? Yeah. Okay. Congratulations. So I guess that's, in my opinion, that's more of a management.
We just need approval of the professional service agreement because it is a new contract.
And So the internship will be a paid internship then?
Yes, it's a combination. So we're looking to, EMU has been phenomenal. Dr. Starr was very quick to connect and say, hey, because we want them to get the credit for the class during the summer as well. But we're actually looking to start this before the summer starts so that we can ideally get some time. Just because we have a specific date, we know they don't always work that way. So the sooner the better that we can have all that. We have a student actually that we could meet with as soon as next week. We just need to have the public service agreement approved since it's a new agreement for a new service we haven't had to have temporary employment for. And this is the way to do it best in alignment with the personnel ordinance.
With that, I move to approve agenda item 7B.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for item 7B. Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Oh, Moses, that was the end of the agenda. Any media?
Say there's nothing in the back. That's not it.
How's Michael feeling?
No. No media?
No media.
Okay. Yeah. Adjourn.